Alright, so this request comes from Ricky Ketchum. By the way, dude, I have a question. Are you and Ash Ketchum related? Just asking, because of the last name and stuff. Okay, but on to the review. You know what I love about this show? For the fact that it pretty much has all the things I love in cars, comedy, rock music, badass action, video games, and of course, giant mech robots. All of that combined gives you Megas XLR, probably Cartoon Network's the coolest show from the 2000s. Now, the show premiered in May 1st of 2004, but a pilot for the show aired in 2002 during Cartoon Weekend's Summerfest. The pilot was so popular that it got made into an actual series, which aired on the Toonami block in 2004. And dude, this was an extremely entertaining show with the astonishing action sequences and fights that make you want to punch the air while watching. The show is also heavily inspired by Japanese anime, and you can definitely tell by the detailed animation style. Their excellence is amplified by the show's rock and metal soundtrack, and it's accompanied from hilarious jokes and parodies of things from the 80s, 90s like Power Rangers, Voltron, Transformers, the Smurfs, and Sonic the Hedgehog, etc. Our main character is Coop, who is an overweight slacker who loves foods, video games, movies, and rock and roll. Pretty much sounds like me, except for the fat and the slacker part. But he's the opposite of what you'd come to expect from a hero. He's not very smart, and often ends up destroying things rather protecting them and trying to stop the bad guys. Despite his carelessness, he's extremely likable and surely envied by a lot of us who want to own our own giant robots. Next we get is Jamie, the best friend of Coop who shares a similar interest, though he's more interested in chicks as opposed to Coop who's more interested in food. He provides the comic relief and doesn't do much for the most part. He'd rather use Megas as a world domination and getting hot chicks, instead of saving the world from dangerous situations in which he tries to escape. We then have Akiva Andrew. She's from the war-torn future fighting against the alien oppression of the Glorf led by Gorath. She was originally meant to be the pilot of Megas, which was stolen from Glorf, but an accident happened and the robot ended up in the past in the hands of a grossly incompetent, but manages to get the job done in Coop. She's the serious foil of Coop and Jamie's easygoing attitude, with just enough sense of humor to befriend the two badass to give the bad guys an ass kicking as well. She reminds me of Rukia from Bleach. Both are empowered by females from another place, whether it be from the dimension, time, realm, etc. Loses her powers to the more relatable male character, and proceeds to train him. But despite what they've lost, they still retain enough strength and determination to kick some ass. And last, but certainly not least, Megas, the giant robot. How can you not like this giant robot? It has a cool paint job, controlled by a steering wheel and a game controller, and a car for a head. How awesome is that? It seems like this robot has infinite weapons. Even other episodes he has different gun lasers and missiles. And it makes every fight scene look fresh and different. Definitely one of the coolest robots ever alongside a Gundam Wing. And you know what would have been cool? A Megas XLR video game. I mean, just to think about if the show actually lasted, we would have probably have gotten a Megas XLR video game. But unfortunately, the show was cancelled in 2005 due to low ratings, and I wonder why. But even though the show was cancelled, it still has a cult following of people that would love to see it come back. Hopefully someday it will happen. If Samurai Jack could come back, then anything could. Including this show. I would hope for this show to come back on Toonami on the Adult Swim block, but seeing as how Cartoon Network is being ran by monkeys and baboons in suits, it's unlikely it'll happen. But I am still hopeful. It deserves more seasons for sure, but the creators have had a lot of trouble getting the rights back. Even though whoever has them, I don't believe they will because it's been so long, and I'm one of the fans that wish the originals would be broadcast on the new TV station again, and new seasons and content to come back. maybe on Netflix or YouTube, funded by someone to give the original creators full control. So if you love this show, tell Cartoon Network and others to bring this show back, but I doubt they would. Give it a buy on Xbox Live or iTunes. That is where you can buy it, and I promise you will love this show as much as I do. It's a pity the show never had a proper DVD release, and it's a shame because the one on Amazon only has a few episodes. This show will really deserve a full DVD release. That is if Cartoon Network gets their heads out of their asses, which I doubt will ever happen. Overall, this is an excellent show. Great characters, daunting action sequences, funny jokes, cool music, and does not take itself seriously at all. This show is pure fun, truly a masterpiece in art and animation, and I highly recommend this show. Megas XLR gets a 9.6 out of 10. This is Red Wolf signing out, and I'll see you next time. Peace.